16. For by him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones, or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him, and for him. 17. And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. Colossians 1:16-17. The Father wrought by his Son in the creation of all heavenly beings. By him were all things created, whether they be thrones, or dominions, or principalities, or powers. All things were created by him, and for him. Colossians 1:16. Angels are God's ministers, radiant with the light, ever flowing from his presence, and speeding on rapid wing to execute his will. But the Son, the anointed of God, the express image of his person, the brightness of his glory, upholding all things by the word of his power, holds supremacy over them all. Hebrews 1-3. A glorious high throne from the beginning was the place of his sanctuary. Jeremiah 17:12. A scepter of righteousness, the scepter of his kingdom. Hebrews 1-8. Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Psalm 96-6. Mercy and truth go before his face. Psalm 89-14. The law of love being the foundation of the government of God. The happiness of all intelligent beings depends upon their perfect accord with its great principles of righteousness. God desires from all his creatures the service of love, service that springs from an appreciation of his character. He takes no pleasure in a forced obedience, and to all he grants freedom of will, that they may render him voluntary service. So long as all created beings acknowledge the allegiance of love, there was perfect harmony throughout the universe of God. It was the joy of the heavenly host to fulfill the purpose of their Creator. They delighted in reflecting his glory and showing forth his praise. And while love to God was supreme, love for one another was confiding and unselfish. There was no note of discord to mar the celestial harmonies. But a change came over this happy state. There was one who perverted the freedom that God had granted to his creatures. Sin originated with him who, next to Christ, had been most honored of God, and was highest in power and glory among the inhabitants of heaven. Lucifer, son of the morning, was first of the covering cherubs. Holy and undefiled, he stood in the presence of the great Creator, and the ceaseless beams of glory enshrouding the eternal God rested upon him. Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. Ezekiel 28-12-15.